Alright, welcome back to How Realist Hero Built the Kingdom, anime review, episode number 25. Yes, know your enemy and know yourself. The unity should not be endangered. Yep, and now I actually watched this like a little over an hour ago. I was able to find out exactly where one section this whole episode came from. One. Because normally I'm able to find this stuff no problem. But this one, it's like, it's a freaking chore just to find exactly where the heck this stuff came from. Now, yes, the episode does that from chapter 3 of book 5. I was kind of surprised they started adapting this one. Because things starts off with kind of basically we left off last week. So I would say most of the episode could be interpreted as somewhat anime original, but the ending is probably going to lead into probably the finale, possibly finale for the season. Yes. Yeah. That's what it seems like anyways. They're probably going to adapt the finale for the final chapter for book 4 probably next week. It's interesting, they did this, where they went straight to book 5 with this one. So, we kind of unveil that, like, so we already know last week that we have it where the chief, what was his name? I know his sister stayed behind. Let's see. Where Jokima, him, and some people from, I would say about close to small percentage of the refugees go off to reclaim the homeland while his sister stays behind in, of course, in Frida, and, well, stuff leading to, relates to, what's going to happen next. It could be that a lot of this episode could take it from bonus stories, because a lot of the episode, with the exception of like one bit, I just couldn't find the source material for it. I seriously couldn't find it. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, before I continue, if you're curious though, why does it look like this basically like a big blinding light behind my head? Because the sun's behind my head. That's why. I could just simply close it, but I just don't want to at the moment. Yep. So, with this particular episode, I probably should close that. Yes. So after they have that, then we have a very interesting bit where we focus on, this is a definite. The scene, the image I saw where he had the four fiancés reading about the stuff, basically the next scene here, that's straight from chapter 3, book 5, where it's all there. They do cut one tiny portion out, probably because it's saved for next week's episode. Yes. Excuse me, but yes, what happens in this scene is about 90% accurate to the book itself. They did make one small change here. You see, in the book, now this is basically the four girls, and the lamp is simply Juna. This is, of course, when you look in front of you have Juna on the far right, next to her is Aisha, then Lucia, and then finally Ronora. The class is taught by Excel Walters. Now, in the book, she was wearing a hat. Basically one of these education hats. In the anime, she's not wearing this at all. She's wearing the glasses. She does point out about the glasses. Like, oh, why do you wear glasses? This is probably not for description. Yeah, in the book, basically, Juna was asking her about that. Here, they cut that out. Basically, maybe she's kind of like talking like a person. Or basically, she's giving the brow training course. And giving detailed info about basically how someone feels about all four women. And here's something very interesting, though. Last time they did something kind of like this, they did it out of order. They've done this a couple times in the anime where they present a sequence that's happened in the book itself, and they present it out of order. They did it with basically the talent thing. They did the first half of the series. Then, of course, it was the food. This one, surprisingly, is all accurate order. First is Ronora, then Juna, then Aisha, and then Lucia. And everything that is said about these four women is 100% accurate. There is like virtually no change to this whole scene. The reactions are pretty much spot on. It's surprising though, like in the case of Roanoke, like for example, this actually is from the book itself, where if in fact that he kind of basically is telling you of remorse marrying her because he is responsible for her father's death, but she had no problem with that because she liked her father very much. She did grieve for her father's death because he is her father, but they got over that. In case of Juna, is like saying that no one else wants her. The whole thing about Aisha a pet, that was kind of funny. Lucia, where it said nothing, and of course they go a little more detail about he basically wants her. And it's just so hilarious. In fact, first it's Roanoke who basically was crying into Lucia's chest, and you have Aisha being petted by Lucia. Doesn't really think of Juna, surprisingly, probably because she's like sitting over there. But it's an absolute really good scene. And then right after this, we cut to the Grand Chaos Empire. Well, actually, before we get to that, we have these little black books, which, by the way, they actually... Oh, by the way, there's a little small portion you cut off here. And, yeah, it's... These are 4 black books I consider to be the nation's top secret. What is in these books? What Sotoma wants to do these 4 girls sexually. In full detail. And thank God they don't reveal exactly what they say, because that would be like, oh my gosh, he wants to do that to them? What? Yes, seriously. Like, everything sexual-wise detailed in these 4 black notebooks. Oh, by the way, after they read these books, they had to burn these damn things. I'm like, okay. Okay, now we cut to the Grand Chaos Empire. This is where basically I get a little bit of confusion here. Of where the heck this is from. We have Jeannie reporting to her sister, the beautiful Maria, who's sitting at her bed. Instead of her desk. Like, she's in her office. Like, I get the fact that bed is there. You could at least sit at your desk. Why are you sitting in your bed for? So, basically, Jeannie is telling Maria what happened a couple episodes back about Ginger, the fact that they are basically educating slaves to become public servants. Like, okay. Recapping now, okay. And also the fact that Jeannie's been communicating regularly with Hakuya, which these two do become sort of something quite interesting happen with him later on in the series. Yep. And because typical anime, this has happened like almost every anime I've watched. Whenever somebody talks about somebody in one scene, the character reaction in another scene when they're not there is them sneezing. Yes, sneezing. And he goes like, sorry about that. And of course, details like, oh yeah, everybody's ever moved the city, no problem. And then Poncho shows up. Yes, Poncho. The reason why he's here? Like, I actually made anything you wanted. It's like, cool. What is it? Sauce. For squid. Yep. That was the real purpose of the scene. And then right after that, we have Sotoma sitting at a kotatsu with Lucia, where they're eating tangerine. Or he's eating a tangerine, they're like, I guess of course they're engaged. And then of course they're chatting for a while. Very good conversation here. I think this is actually a tiny sliver from the final chapter of book 4. That's my personal guess by rereading it. So at the chapter, Carla comes in and says, Albert wants to talk to you. Basically, this ending sets up the final chapter of Book 4, which, yeah, that's actually pretty good. It's interesting in the fact that they never went through Chapter 4 of this book at all. They skipped over that for some reason. If there ever is a Season 2, please, for the love of God, adapt Chapter 4 first so I can finish this book up and then move on to Chapter 5. Yes, I did adapt a full chapter this episode, but I would think they would basically, adapt that too. They could probably adapt next week. Who the heck freaking knows? I mean, the last chapter itself is not very long. It's roughly 36 pages, I think it is. Yeah, so I would say they have to fully next week, no problem. And maybe they might adapt even like chapter 4 next week. Who the heck freaking knows? I'd like to see a full book fully adapted. Yep. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it for this particular review. It's a pretty good episode. I just kind of wish I had a little more source material to work with aside from the books. Like, where the heck did this info come from? It's just kind of a bit perplexing. Maybe they have some bonus for the manga for this series. Yes, the series is a manga. And I should point out, though, Lucia's mother and Excel are drawn in the manga where the chests are bigger than they are depicted in either the light novel or even the anime. Are like humongous. Yes, this is how these two women are drawn in the manga. Yes, the women are hot. But wow, why the heck are the chests drawn so huge? Yes, if you ever get a chance to read the manga that adapts the light novels of the series, do check it out. It's pretty faithful to the actual material. Man, these two women, despite being very beautiful, like, I had to point that out though because the artist drew them with humongous chests, like bigger than they have in the anime, like a lot bigger. Yes, seriously, that's what they did with these two women. Yep. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much a particular view. Next is going to be a comic corner and then the case of Vantos. Okay, next video. Bye.